Good afternoon, Camp Davy Crockett.
I'm Hayden.
And I'm Zeph.
And I'm Darrell.
And welcome to the Camp Davy Chronicles.
Good job. I'm glad you figured it out because we forgot to tell you.
Yeah, I was thinking if you had went over it or not, and then I didn't realize.
It's pretty intuitive.
Yeah,
you say your name.
Yeah.
Congratulations, he knows his name. This is Darrell.
Hi.
So, a lot of you might not know who Darrell is, so I think we should start off with explaining who you are and what you do at the council.
Sure. You're going to do it or I'm going to do it?
No, I'm going to let you do it.
I am the council president. I am the outgoing, so I told Zeph if I embarrass y'all in any way, my 2-year tenure ends in January. And I've been part of the executive board for a number of years and have lived in Johnson City and Jonesboro, Tennessee for 12 years. Eagle Scout from South Georgia, did a lot of volunteer work in the Mason-Dixon Council in Hagerstown, Maryland for a dozen years. We've been here a dozen years. So I have been a scouter in lots of different campsites and have loved it.
Awesome.
And I will say I'm going to take off my obnoxious turkey headdress
and
reveal that I am indeed a bald eagle.
Oh my goodness! No, well, you can't put it out of sight entirely.
Oh really? Okay. Since it is the holiday season,
it's too beautiful.
I will use him as a hand puppet. I'll be Jeff Dunham. If he starts talking, then y'all have to dismiss me.
That is true. It is a little warm in here. But I think my background, I know Zeph has a different background with you than I do. I got to meet you through camp training and different stuff, coming and doing I forget what it's called, what you call your little session.
The hospitality training.
Yeah. And I think it's where I got to meet you. I know Zeph has, like I said, a different background.
I think that was the first time that I encountered you, maybe. I don't know.
Well, that's why we get out in the community and volunteer and speak in front of groups, because we make connections, and then all of a sudden, we've had deeper roots with younger people like you guys. And Zeph came to work at Chick-fil-A. It helps us grow our staff and offer you more work experiences, and get paid. So we love being out in the community.
Yeah.
He owns a Chick-fil-A, just so you know.
I thought it was funny. I remember you coming and doing that session at camp, and Zeph coming up and being like, I'm pretty sure that's that guy that's with me with the Jonesboro Repertory Theater. And I was like, I don't know. But I'm sure it is. Yeah. And now look at y'all. You guys are, I consider y'all friends. I don't know if you consider each other friends.
Absolutely.
But so let's talk about a little bit about what was going on at camp between now and the last episode. It's been a whole month.
It has crazy. Been a month. That is, yeah.
Yeah. So at camp currently, there's really, there's like different troop events. There's not been any major events going on. There has been a couple ROTC groups that are doing different trainings and stuff, which is really cool. There has been a little bit of construction going on. So hopefully when you come to next summer, you'll get to see kind of the process and progress of that, which is cool. Yeah, that's true. At winter camp, you'll see a lot of it. We're at that weird point in the summer. Well, I guess not the summer. Summer's the whole year.
It is not, in fact, summer right now.
But we're at that weird point in the season where all the leaves are off the trees and you can see like the entirety of camp. So it's really cool. It's like winter camp to go and like see everything, because everything's a lot closer than you would think it is. So
that's true.
But I think that's all that's going on at camp for a camp update right now.
Right. And they just had the haunted weekends.
Yes. Yeah. Those were probably they get funner every year. I swear. I know the funner's not a word, but
I don't care.
Yeah, they do get better every year, I think. So,
well, in terms of updates on camp stuff, I've been hearing some like early planning stuff for a spring camporee. It's like science themed.
Oh yeah, the STEM whatever it's called. Yeah.
That's pretty much all I know right now, but it sounds fun. They've asked me to do like a experiment demonstration thing. Oh. It's gonna be pretty.
You're gonna make like a really big elephant toothpaste thing. That'd be cool.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You go for like Mark Rober's the world's biggest elephant toothpaste.
I don't know what that means, but okay.
Yeah, that would be cool. I'm trying to think. There was something specific. Oh yeah. The camp Christmas party, the staff Christmas party on December the 6th. I think it's either the 6th or the 16th, whatever the Saturday is on. But if you were previous staff or current staff, then you should come and join us. It's the best party in town. So
Yeah, especially since it's a pretty small town.
Yeah.
So anyway, if you're like me and you hear Darrell say that he's the council president, you're like, what? The council has a president? What does he do? So I want to know that answer to that question.
And I have to wonder that myself. But I am the chief volunteer in the council, and I oversee the board meetings that we have 4 or 5 times a year. And I help fundraise and help advance the program. And again, show up, volunteer where I can, and lend a hand and be visible and encouraging to the scouts and scouters. And I got invited to a little get together with some friends, and everyone I knew was going, and they said, it's going to be on such and such a date. And I'm like, guys, I really want to go. This sounds like fun, but it conflicts with a district dinner in Greenville. And they're like, district dinner of what? It's a Boy Scout thing. And I've been invited, and I said yes, and the dates conflict, and I'm not changing that date.
Yeah.
And I think the district chair would have understood if I said, hey, I had something come up, so a conflict. He would say, okay, no worries. But it was too important to me, not just to be a man of honor and hold to a commitment, but I genuinely enjoyed. I had the best time. Great food, great recognition for the district volunteers in Greenville, Tennessee, and just had a wonderful night. And I saw pictures later of the other thing. I'm like, hey man, that looked wonderful. But I won. There was no way to lose in my mind, because I got to spend time in the scouting world, and it was very rewarding.
Yeah, the people that are down in Greenville can be fun. They're different type of people. It's a different type of fun.
What?
I don't know how to explain.
Mean?
I don't know. I live towards Greenville, and so
Okay.
I have
I guess
the great people.
Okay, I guess you would say that. Okay.
The email address for complaints
Yeah.
is this.com.
See, we have a strategy. We just don't have a complaint email, and so they just can't complain about it.
We do have an email.
That's but
Should I say
don't email your complaint. Find somebody else.
CampDavyChronicles@gmail.com. It's pretty easy.
Honestly, if one person emailed it, I'd be happy. That's more than we've got. Apparently, nobody uses email.
We've had a few, but not many. Like over the last 2 years, we've had like 3 maybe.
Yeah.
Other than spam, we've had like hundreds.
Right. Yeah, they like to comment on the YouTube videos more than emailing.
Right.
I guess that's like a kid thing to do nowadays.
But if you want to be cool and old-fashioned, you can email us. We don't have a physical address. That would be more cool and more old-fashioned.
Use the council office.
I guess they get it to us.
Yeah.
So anyway, I guess we don't really have that much more to go over. Oh, wait a minute. Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
It's not. That's the look at the turkeys. It's Thanksgiving. I'm kind of.
That is true.
That's our favorite holiday, as we've said before. What's your favorite holiday?
Christmas.
Okay, that's a fair answer too. I love Christmas.
Because Christmas is a whole month.
Right.
It starts on the 1st. It goes all the way through the holiday, and then some. And some people, like my wife, likes to celebrate into Epiphany, which is January 6th, which is the end of the Christmas calendar. So
that's for the 12 days of Christmas.
Right.
Exactly.
So I just remembered this now that you're talking about this. I have a question that's more of my curiosity than Christmas. So I know your affiliation with the Chick-fil-A. Do you have Chick-fil-A at like family events? And then is there a point where you go places and you see like a Chick-fil-A basket? You're like, I've had so much.
Yes, we do. Yes to both. We see Chick-fil-A at every banquet and dinner, family and otherwise. And I really look at the Chick-fil-A portions, but also look at the others. And if there's competitors on the table, I usually fill my plate up with that and then quietly go dump it in the trash. I just don't want the taste of the other competitors in the mouth of my customers.
Right.
When eating Chick-fil-A. I'm really, really brutal about that. I got into some trouble. That's actually not true, but it would be fun if it was true.
Because I feel like there would be a point where you just get tired of it. I don't know that you could get tired of Chick-fil-A though. I eat Chick-fil-A quite a bit.
Well, the most craveable thing on the menu are the waffle fries.
Yeah,
because they go with
pretty
much every combination.
That is true.
And I could not live without those things. They are
So
good.
what's your go-to, like if you're going to Chick-fil-A and you get something to eat, what's your go-to?
I'm getting grilled nuggets
Okay.
and waffle fries, and usually a side of fruit or kale salad. Something green, something fruit, something good for me.
Right.
Get
Yeah.
some balance. Diet lemonade.
It's cool. I like the grilled nuggets. They're different. It's so
They are
healthy
different
option.
from the not grilled nuggets.
Yeah.
That's why they're a separate menu item.
It makes sense. Yeah, those were all my Chick-fil-A questions.
Okay, fair enough.
So do we want to move into the next part?
Sure.
Yeah.
Hayden,
Okay.
let's do that. Darrell, Fowler,
Yes.
sir,
Yes, sir.
boss.
Yes, sir. Can I have a raise?
What? How do you know that was on here? What do you want to be when you grow up?
When I grow up, I want to be a writer.
Oh, okay.
I want to write a book. I might do it next year.
Yeah.
I just finished my master's. It's been 3 years. I'm exhausted properly, and I'm going to rest for a couple of months and then start writing something next year.
Do you have like a concept of what you
I
want to
do.
write?
I'm going to write about the restaurant business,
Okay.
hospitality, and what I've learned over the 30-something years in the business.
Do you have a name concept?
I do.
Or you don't
I
want-
do,
you
but
don't
I'm
have
not
to-
going to say it
okay,
yet.
That's fine.
I don't think anyone else will take the idea, but I'll tell y'all off air what it's
Yeah.
called.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we kind of touched on a little bit with your introduction, but go through some of the positions that you've had in scouting, your years in scouting, your previous experience,
Mhm.
Eagle Scout, all that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
Just
Especially like growing up, like what kind of
Yeah.
troop you were in. and stuff
Sure.
like that.
My father was worried about burnout, so he did not allow me to be a Cub Scout. So I started at the troop level as a tenderfoot, age 11, Troop 106, Chehaw Council, Albany, Georgia. Big troop, lots of great personalities, Scoutmaster that had been there for years, a big funnel of kids coming in. So I had a big class of tenderfoots that I joined and just moved up. We were a troop that focused on going camping once a month, and a lot of troops are like that. But we were very, very literal to that behavior, and loved being outdoors. Went to 1981. That was the what was the jamboree was in Virginia. Went to the very first one at the 1981 jamboree at Fort A.P. Hill. Thank you. Memory that is fading. An interesting fun fact is our son Jack went to the last jamboree at Fort A.P. Hill in 2010, right before everything moved to the summit.
that's really cool.
And so I did that. I did the canoe base 1982. I did not go to Philmont. Have not yet been to Philmont, but I have a plan. And did sea base later on in 2009 with Jack, right before we did the jamboree the year later. So done a lot of scouting with my son and with other troops and activities. But when we moved to Maryland in 1998, most of my time was spent initially at the district level, raising money, friends of scouting. I didn't know anybody in town, so I walked through the doors of the scouting office and said, I want to help. And they said, here's a stack of unworked Friends of Scouting cards. Go call these 300 people. And I called about 250 of them. And I raised some money, and I met a lot of people, and I called them back the next year and the next year. So I got pretty good at that. I got onto a district committee and then became the district chair naturally. Would you like to be on the committee? Sure. How about being the chair? Because it's an open position. Oh, okay. I think my finest achievement, other than being an Eagle Scout, of course, was getting the District Award of Merit from that group of people that I got to work with. I talked about Greenville, the district committees and the district volunteers. They do tireless effort to help their units run successfully. Celebrations, recognitions, blue and gold, all those banquets are just so much fun and so well put together that when I got that District Award of Merit, I had no idea it was coming, and I was very, very flattered and proud of that. So did that. I was never really I was on the board of directors in Maryland before we moved south again. to land in Johnson City in 2011 and joined the council here. Our son had gotten his Eagle, so I was purely just an adult volunteer at the council level and worked with the council presidents or the scout executives, and then got the opportunity to work with Greg Leach, my hero. And then he asked me to consider being council president. And I said, yes, of course. And it's been a great 2 years with him. And I look forward to being a past president and supporting the new leadership. But that's kind of been my journey. And since you asked, my Philmont plan is that we have a wee 16-month-old grandson named Henry David Duncan. And Henry, his dad, Daniel, our son-in-law, was an Eagle Scout in Columbia, South Carolina. And I had this plan a few years ago that if I have a grandson and if he goes to Philmont at age 15, I will only be 70. And I'm going to Philmont and I'm going to go on a trek with my grandson.
That's a good plan.
That's my plan.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens. But he's not even 2.
Right.
But that's kind of my dream, to fill out or round out all of the high future.
You got to look to the future like that.
Yeah.
I do want to back up. So you said that you're an Eagle. I want to know what your Eagle Scout project was.
I don't even know if it was legal. I mean, we didn't sell anything, that was, drug related. We held a garage sale, a community garage sale at our church, filled the gymnasium with donations, and then had a garage sale on a given Saturday. And hundreds of people came from the church and the community, and we raised, I think, $3,500, and we donated it to the American Cancer Society.
Awesome.
And I don't know if fundraising is today an approvable Eagle project, but it went through the process of approval, and it was a lot of fun. And it was very successful, and had lots of volunteers, lots of help, lots of management. But I don't know who put the idea in my head. It was probably my mother, who was very creative, but it was a win-win for American Cancer Society and for all of the scouts involved.
Yeah, we've had a couple people in the council who've done like a benefit race or something that raises money for different things. So yeah, I still think that it would be.
Good.
You have me a little concerned.
Don't worry.
That's great. Can I just say, I wish that we had better audio quality on this show, because the public deserves to hear the full depth and resonance of your voice.
Oh, really?
I was just thinking about that. I wasn't going to say anything until afterwards, but yeah, you do have like a really nice voice to like speak.
When you write your book, you better record the audio book.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I will listen to it every day.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm honored.
So at Camp Davy Crockett, our beloved home, do you have a favorite shelter or campsite on here?
I do not. And true confessions, I don't know that I have spent the night at Camp David. Maybe that's something we need to fix.
Yeah, that's my
you
challenge.
Can come to the camp Christmas party and stay the night.
Well, I'll bring my Eno and just sling it up and swing between a couple trees. I hike the Appalachian Trail every year, and I'm a hammock camper and love it. So I can sleep just about anywhere that has a couple of trees.
Well, it'll be like 70 in December, so I mean, it'll be good anyway.
I know. Well, I learned to camp in hammocks at Sea Base on Munson Island, and it was 95 degrees at midnight, and it was brutal. And no one wanted to sleep in the tent, so we brought Eno hammocks as a precaution, and I slept in one every night. And I was still miserable, but it was better than being on the ground in a tent.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Mercy.
Now, I'm assuming you don't hike the entire Appalachian Trail every year.
Correct. Don't have that kind of free time. But I hiked all of Maryland when we lived up there with the scouts, and spent one night in a shelter, and it was 7 degrees. We knew it was going to be cold. It was a winter camp out. We hiked in, packed the boys into the shelter like baby mice, and then built a huge bonfire that lasted all night, and we made it through the night. So I've spent a lot of time on the Maryland Trail, and then when we moved here, I started section hiking with some friends from church, and they are now halfway, and I'm about 25%. of the way, maybe 20%. So I just tag along with them every year, and we do 40, 50 miles a year.
But your plan is to eventually have hiked the entire.
Oh, I will.
Okay.
I'll go to Georgia and hike all the way here and probably do that in a couple of months and then go back to the top and just do it in pieces.
Yeah.
And when I retire, I'll have more time.
Right. Are you next or am I next? Oh, yeah. So what are some of your biggest pet peeves?
Poor grammar
Oh, man.
drives me insane. In fact, when I text somebody, I capitalize the first word. I put periods and semicolons and quotation marks. I'm neurotic about that. So I hate bad grammar. I hate litter. I'm a Boy Scout, and in fact, I was picking up litter in the parking lot today before I got in the car to come here. So those are probably my two biggest ones. And I don't like the word like. Like, oh my God, and I don't mean Valley girl or Valley boy, but when people speak in broken phrases and sentences, it kind of, I roll my eyes, I think.
Whenever I think about that, it bothers me too. Then I notice that I'm doing it, and it bothers me more.
Yep.
Yeah, I've noticed a lot of people do it when they talk. Instead of saying it seems like it's changed the word like. And
That makes sense.
so I don't know, it's weird. I'm going to be all self-conscious this entire episode tonight.
Now we're all thinking about it.
Okay, so like,
Like, dude.
Yeah, man. What? Speaking of which, what embarrasses you the most?
What embarrasses me the most is when I talk too much. I think I'm chatty, and sometimes I don't let other people. When I interview somebody for a job, they basically say yes and no, and I'm like, they're hired. And it's like, Darrell, you talked the whole time. I'm like, I'm sorry. I just feel silly about that. So that embarrasses me when I don't shut up and don't know when to let other people get a word in edgewise.
It's funny. I can't imagine going to an interview, being all nervous about it, and then you don't get to talk. And then
Oh yeah. It's and I'm a hopeful person. I love. I'm an enthusiast. I want to hire everybody that applies, and sometimes it's the answer's no, and I'm how did that happen?
Well, now we're gonna have a whole hour of audio of you speaking. That, you can just listen back to it whenever you feel like you talk too much.
Exactly.
So, this is a question for specifically the season. What is your favorite, or a couple you can pick, Thanksgiving traditions?
Watching Home Alone on television. That's not the first. That's probably the second tradition, because that in the afternoon after turkey, plop down on the couch, and that's the first Christmas movie of the season is on Thanksgiving Day, and it has to be Home Alone for me. And I think the other tradition is just cooking and helping my wife. I don't really do anything. She does it all. I just eat it. And I applaud her and praise her and do the dishes. But my wife is a phenomenal cook. And I just support her and I have a smoker. So we have smoked a turkey. But cooking with my family and then watching Home Alone are my two traditions.
Okay. When is too early to decorate for Christmas? Like, do y'all decorate after?
I think Halloween's too early.
Okay.
I think Thanksgiving
I
is
agree.
good. Most people are doing it now.
Yeah.
And in the middle of November, and I'm fine with that.
Okay. Because I think that it should be the day after Thanksgiving is an acceptable time to start decorating. Right. We had this discussion last year, and I don't remember what Greg said, but I think it was the day after Thanksgiving.
Well, if you look at Lowe's, November the 1st, when they pulled all the Halloween decorations, obviously, because no one's going to decorate on November 1st. But they pulled all that and had Christmas up. You get a deal, though.
Yeah, we should start a new tradition. Decorate after the holidays. That way you get a deal on all the stuff that's there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be perfect.
My wife always gets a deal on candy after
That's the best part.
Halloween.
See, I've noticed at Chick-fil-A, I appreciate it's kind of happened in phases.
Mm-hmm.
Like on November 1st, our Christmas lights were on. And then the Christmas, like the new designs on the cups and the bags happened like a week later. And then this week we got the peppermint milkshake, which,
That's good to know because I was waiting for that.
Yeah, it's there now. But we still haven't started playing Christmas music in the lobby yet, so it's like that's the next thing. I'm waiting to see when it'll happen.
Yeah.
I think another good tradition is listening to Christmas music on XM radio. Again, there's a channel that started, but I won't tune in until Thanksgiving Day.
Right. I do remember going through Chick-fil-A a couple of years ago, and there was just like, gosh, I know it's in my mind of saying like, there was lights on the wall, and that was the only Christmas decorations that year. And I was like, man, but this year they've got like lights around the outside, and it looks great. And so
I love to have the windows painted and do things like that.
Now, in terms of Christmas music, I like to hear a little bit of it before Thanksgiving just to kind of whet my appetite. Mm-hmm. And then the day after Thanksgiving, it's all day long.
Right.
Yeah.
See, I let it happen natural. Whenever I hear that first Christmas song, it's just when I kind of transfer into it.
Right.
But I won't specifically seek out Christmas music. Mm-hmm. I normally hear it at Speedway and Lights, and that's when it just transfers over.
That's kind of the worst place to hear it, though. Yeah. Because it's like 5 songs on loop.
That's right.
I feel like there were more Thanksgiving questions that we need to ask, but they're not on the list. What's your favorite Thanksgiving food?
My favorite Thanksgiving food is my mother's cornbread stuffing.
Oh, wow. Man, that sounds
my wife makes it, and I'm gluten-free, so my wife makes it without the gluten, and it's as good as I remember from being a kid. Good. Yeah. And, of course, the turkey. I love cranberry sauce. All the beans and pies and everything is just phenomenal.
Yeah. So we asked Greg this last year. How do you walk up to a table? There's Thanksgiving food. How do you plan out your plates? Are you a 2-plate person, or how do you?
I'm a 1-plate person. I always take the drumstick, the big one, okay. And I fight other people off with it, and then get the starches and the green beans, and then of course these. I think I got to change my answer. I think the sweet potato souffle with extra marshmallows may be my favorite food. It's right up there with the cornbread stuffing, and I get a generous. If I go back for seconds, it's always sweet potato souffle. Okay. Yeah, because that's really my dessert.
Right.
I don't really eat a lot of cakes and things, but usually just one trip, and then of course I'm on duty for dishes.
What about pies?
Pies, chocolate chess is our family favorite. Growing up, my brother, I don't know how my brother's older, and he got on this strawberry cake kick. And so my sister and I fell right in line. Getting a strawberry cake made for you for your birthday was a big deal. So cakes are good like that. It's not really a Thanksgiving tradition, but you never know. It can always be resurrected.
Yeah. Anything that a family does for Thanksgiving repetitively is a tradition.
That is kind of what a tradition means, yeah.
That's right. And I think that another tradition we love to do is just go for a walk with the dogs afterwards and stretch our legs before the nap. Okay. Oh, right. We have to have, the meal, the walk, the nap.
Right. You got to work off the food that you just ate.
That's right.
Exactly. We always like to take a walk after Thanksgiving dinner.
Yeah.
Too. That's nice.
No, we don't. But I'm sure it's lovely.
You should try it.
Yeah.
This year. New tradition.
So if you could have any superpower in the entire world, what would it be?
I was going to use this as my question for the next guest.
Oh, okay.
I was going to say to them, if you had and maybe I can think of another question for the guest, but the two I would struggle with, and this is, again, the question is invisibility or the ability to fly.
Yeah.
And I think I would rather be able to fly.
I think so too. Like out of the two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like there's too many caveats with being invisible.
Yeah.
I would mess it up.
Right.
So I feel like flying wouldn't be that bad.
Being invisible would be stressful.
Yeah.
If you snuck on a plane and took an empty seat, you got to stay awake the whole time. Somebody might sit on you. Like, wait a second, this is not working out.
Right. And then what if you fall asleep and you're not invisible anymore? You never know.
I wonder, that's an interesting question. If you're asleep, do you become visible?
I don't know. See, because I always imagined that you had to be conscious and thinking about being invisible to be invisible.
It's a whole other level of reality. I like that.
Well, speaking of other levels of reality,
yes.
Do you have a joke of the day?
I do. I thought about a couple of jokes. My joke for today is about the poor scoutmaster. And he goes to see his therapist. And the therapist says, "You look really troubled. What's wrong?" He says, "Well, Doc, I've been having these terrible dreams. Well, tell me about it." He says, "Well, in one dream, I'm a lean-to. In one dream, I'm a teepee. And I'm flipping and fighting all night. I'm a lean-to, I'm a teepee, I'm a lean-to, I'm a teepee, I'm a lean-to, I'm a teepee. Doc, what's wrong with me?" The doctor leans in and says, "You're too tense." So that's my time. And I heard it years ago. It wasn't about a scoutmaster, but I tied that in to make it about scouting.
That was great.
Scoutmasters, they experience stress. So
Yes.
Everybody needs an outlet.
Yeah, I think that was our first scout-related joke.
Was it? Surely not.
So.
I'm sure it wasn't.
I don't remember any scout-related
I forget all of them after we finish the podcast. So,
and I do have to say, this season's guests have brought better jokes than ever before.
I've got to say, we've had some good jokes this season.
That's good.
Absolutely. When you started off though with just the scoutmaster went to therapy, I was like, as I'm sure they need it. And what about a word of the day? Do you have a word of the day?
Word of the day is up. And
like UP.
UP.
Okay.
We saw this, and this isn't just today, but when you asked me this question, it's my favorite word for the last month. We saw our grandson Henry, the future Eagle Scout and Philmont Trekker, and he was walking around. He's 16 months old. He's just now walking and experiencing a whole new world, and he is talking. And he is saying very few words, but up is one of them. And he was walking around when my daughter sent the video. He's walking around the playground and he's just walking beautifully. He's got it nailed. And he's looking around. He's up. And it's hysterical. And then he falls down and the video ends. But he is adorable. And he's looking up and he is genuinely thinking up. And I thought, I love to fly. I was a student pilot for a while. I love the thought that he might be a pilot one day. You never know what people will aspire to, but the fact that he's looking up, feeling up, we all want to feel uplifted and look to the Lord, look to the sky, and just have our spirits lifted. We all need to be looking up. So up's my word. I'm sticking with Henry.
Yeah, I like it. I also like that you're training him walking for future Philmont trails.
There you go.
He is a mess.
Because if he never learned to walk, he wouldn't be able to walk the Philmont.
That's true.
Favorite class that you have taken or taught with scouting, not just in general.
I don't know. Normally, this is like for a camp staff who teach classes at camp. But you're a different type of staff.
Let me answer your question this way. If I were a merit badge counselor and I were teaching a class, I probably would. Do we still have orienteering?
No.
I would teach that because I love math. I love being out and relying on the compass and finding points and solving problems. And I would love to teach that if I was going to be a merit badge counselor.
That was great. That was a good way to change our question to make it better for you and then answer it. Great. You're just doing our job for us.
Thank you. Happy to help. With the assist.
Sean would have also loved having someone that actually wanted to teach orienteering.
I'm sure it's not a long line of people. And as you both may know, there was a merit badge years ago called Stalking. Were you aware of this?
I did not know.
It was not orienteering, but it was more, I guess, animal oriented, but the scouts would literally stalk and get a merit badge. Of course, they changed the name. I don't know what it's called something today, but I don't know, it always gets a laugh out of people to think that there was actually a merit badge called that one day.
I don't think we have it at all anymore, but I would imagine it'd be changed to tracking. That would make
that makes sense.
That would seem less concerning to me if I heard you were learning how to track.
Yeah,
exactly.
Stalk. Yeah. So, do you have a favorite camp story for us?
Favorite camp story. When I was at Charles L. Summers Canoe Base, Northern Tier as it's called today, in 1982, Ben was our guide, and he unfortunately sat in the back of my canoe. And I was in the middle, and you're the dump man in the middle. You just sit there and do nothing, and I love that job. But I had to rotate to the bow. I could not steer the canoe at first. I learned, but Ben was in charge. So whenever I was in the bow, I was talking more than I was rowing, and he said famously, "Fowler, you can't chew gum and row at the same time." And it embarrassed me. And so everybody kind of picked on me and made fun of me because he was right. I would not shut up. And I was, the paddle was falling in the water. I was horrible. I learned, but while the focus, this little negativity was kind of focused around me, I was waiting and hoping that there might be a change of idiocy that week and I would not be the one being laughed at. And the answer came one morning when we had gotten up for breakfast and we had picked, it felt like a bushel of blueberries, and there were blueberries everywhere. And we made oatmeal each morning. We took the blueberries and some sugar and some other toppings and made the best oatmeal you've ever had. And his name was Neil. I won't say his last name, but Neil in our group was, I think, a year older than me. And Neil's job that morning was to prepare the blueberries. So you just take the blueberries and you add some sugar and you mix it up and you just pass it around. People put it in there in their oatmeal. And Neil mixed it with salt instead of sugar, the other white powder. He mixed it up, handed it around, everyone portioned it out, and everyone was retching and screaming. It was like acid. If you've ever, and I would not recommend you try blueberries with salt on them. It was like fire in your mouth. So everyone was freaking out, and the scoutmaster determined, kind of did the unpacked it and just determined what he had done. And so Neil became the one everyone was, not picking on, but having a good little fun with. And
Right.
The focus was off of me. That was my favorite camp story as far as stepping into the sand, the quicksand, and then getting out.
Yeah, I can't imagine eating the amount of sugar that I would put in oatmeal.
Oh, yeah.
Inside, that would be awful.
It was horrible. It was.
And you take the first bite expecting it to be,
What's the worst thing that you've ever eaten thinking it was something else? Like if you had like something like pranked on you or something.
I have no clue.
Or an honest mistake.
I mean, I did get told that there was chocolate milk in the fridge and just drank it without thinking about it, and it was expired, and that was gross. But I should have known.
Mm. So one time I was at a youth group event that happened to be on April Fool's Day. And they gave us all ice cream, but it was actually frozen mayonnaise.
Yeah.
It had sprinkles on it and everything, so it was really convincing, And unfortunately, I took a bite before anyone figured it out because, it's just ice cream. Everyone gets it and starts eating it all at the same time. And then,
at Chick-fil-A, we have shake base and we have ice stream mix. The ice stream mix goes into the top of the ice stream or ice cream machine, and it freezes and then it spins out and we put it on cones and cups and milkshakes. And back several years ago, we served coleslaw at Chick-fil-A, and some people still mourn over the loss of coleslaw. But coleslaw dressing was only slightly more yellow than ice cream mix, and it was stored in the walk-in cooler. So probably more than a couple of times across the chain, a young person would probably go back there and grab what they thought was ice cream mix, and it was coleslaw dressing, and they poured it into the ice cream machine, and it froze, and then they spun it out into cones and I'm sure it was very, very unpleasant.
Yeah, I can't imagine that.
The comments from customers by the time they discover the error.
Yeah. You got to be extra vigilant on April Fools. You got to watch out for everything.
True.
I think maybe it was the night before or something, because I was completely unaware that it even was April Fool's. I don't know. Anyway.
Well, we do the Salisbury steak or the bacon double cheeseburger sandwich unveiling, usually on April the 1st. And most people, I would say well, I don't want to guess what percentage. Hopefully 90% of the people go, oh, haha, April Fools. But the other 10% light up the phone lines. Hey, when can I come and get a cheeseburger at Chick-fil-A? Oh my God.
Oh dear. What would the cows say?
I know. We have to look out for the cows.
Well, speaking of cows, in no way is this related. Could you live or if you could live anywhere in the world, where would it be and why would you live there?
I'd probably live in Switzerland in some valley, looking up at those beautiful Alps,
Yeah.
hike every day, and just enjoy quiet, just beautiful environment.
Right. Would you take your family with you or would you just be you out there by yourself?
Hey, no, I'm not going to answer that question. I would take my wonderful family with me.
Like, what kind of a question?
Well, no, because I don't know.
It'd be a big valley, okay?
Yeah.
Let's say a big valley.
Right.
No, I don't. I think my wife would love that, actually, and my kids would probably love it too.
Well, I think that's what I was getting. Would it be something that they would be willing to go and do with you, or would they be like,
I don't think you can find anybody that wouldn't love living in Switzerland.
That's true.
It's
Yeah.
gorgeous.
You'd be hard pressed. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I also want to go to Iceland and do a trek there. They do treks where you carry everything on your back, just like Philmont. And they have cabins. They're no electricity. So they're just basic shelters
Right.
that you stay in each night and you prepare your own food. And you have a guide, but that would be a lot of fun. I would love to visit Iceland. I don't think I'd live there, but Switzerland would be the year round.
Have you been outside the United States?
Many times.
Okay. Or give me a couple places that you've been.
I've been to the Caribbean a lot. I've been to Canada with scouting. Been to Europe several times. Ireland, England, France, Italy, Germany, Switzerland, and been to Haiti, been to Cuba. Of course, those are Caribbean, but those are a little bit unusual. Cuba being a communist country and Haiti being very, very poor. Went there on a business mission trip in 2016. So been around a few places. Never been to South America, and I've never been to Africa.
What was your
Never
favorite
been to
place?
Asia either.
What was your favorite place to go?
Favorite place to visit was Anthony's Key Resort in Roatan, Honduras, a little island off the coast of Honduras, which is one of the Central American countries. And Roatan, Anthony's Key is a resort on Roatan where scuba divers go and spend as much time as they can spare or get away for. And it's the most beautiful diving on the planet. I love to scuba dive. So that I would go back to Anthony's Key and again and again.
I was expecting like a country, and you're just like this specific resort,
And this one,
Yes. this island.
yes,
Like, man,
wonderful.
I didn't know Anthony owned it. Yeah,
He just owns the key, not the
he has the key to the resort, but not the resort itself.
right. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what the name says.
Well, do you have a question for our next guest? Or
Well, it was going to be
did we steal it?
Well, no. Let's think though. Our next guest will be here when?
Christmas. Yep.
So Christmas time. So, I would say, what is their favorite Christmas movie? That's not a traditional movie.
Oh, okay. Die Hard.
Yeah, Die Hard would be one. I would say just what's your favorite Christmas movie and why? That could be a good one. So I love answering that question. I mean, Home Alone, obviously, I let the cat out of the bag about that, but I love It's a Wonderful Life. And I didn't really like A Christmas Carol until we did the radio play, Zeph and I, last year, and had a good time seeing that performed live.
No.
Doing the sound effects.
Yes, we were really good at it. Rattling chains,
Oh, yeah.
making thunder, and it's fun.
Great time. So we're out of the regular questions, but we still haven't asked you is what are you thankful for? The generic Thanksgiving question. We can't have a Thanksgiving episode without that.
True. Yeah.
I am thankful beyond the health of my family and a healthy business and good friends. I am thankful for the ability to learn. I'm thankful for education. I'm thankful for continuous learning. I mentioned finishing my master's, and one of the things that we focused on is, are you a know-it-all or are you a learn-it-all? And certainly as the owner of a business, there are times where I need to be the know-it-all, or I'm the final decision maker. There are times when it's just, this is the way it is, and I have to make a unilateral decision about a personnel issue or a guest issue, and it's kind of no fun really to play that role. But I prefer to be a learn-it-all, and so I'm constantly reading, and 3 short weeks I'll get to read for fun instead of for school. But I love to just pursue what's next. That's one of the Chick-fil-A core values, is pursue what's next. And so for me in 2024, it might be writing a book, but it's going to certainly be learning more and more about the world and how I can keep reinventing myself in it.
Yeah. That was a great answer. You're great at answering questions.
Yeah.
You should be on a podcast.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, you're definitely the one of our guests that have actually thought out their answers instead of just kind of spurting off what they got. So,
or he is spurting off what he's got, and he's just
that
that
good.
Yeah.
Wow. Y'all are good to me.
So, are we ready for the thought of the day?
I think so.
I feel like we've had a really good conversation that's not dumb, and so we're going to dumb it down.
Yeah, we can't let it be too serious.
So I've got 2 this time, specifically for, it's because I didn't have one last time, and so I'm making up for it this time.
Very good.
It's 2-parter.
Okay.
So do crabs look at fish the way that we look at birds? Okay, and I think we've talked about this before. At least we have. I don't know that we've talked about it on the episode, but I imagine that crabs think that fish can fly, just because if we think birds can fly, crabs are basically us in the water, right?
Right. I mean, logically, they can fly, really, if you think about it.
Yeah, exactly. So with this logic, if we follow that trail, is water just a portal to a universe where you can fly but can't breathe? Okay. Because if you're underwater and fish can fly, and then you're swimming along with the fish, are you flying?
Yes.
I think that's to crabs. You are.
I'd say you are. What do you think, Darrell?
Well, you think about when you're in utero, when you're a baby, when you're in the womb, you're breathing fluids. So you are flying, tethered to your dear mother, and then we come out and start breathing air. And it's fascinating how the whole life cycle of a human being works, from being born, and that scenery is certainly changing. Stephen Wright, one of my favorite comedians, said, I kept a journal as a baby. He said, day 1, still tired from the move. Day 2, everybody talks to me like I'm an idiot. But anyway, I had to throw in a little Stephen Wright. But you think about the whole that transition, and so we're all still learning to fly.
Yeah, that's true. So maybe we do have the superpower of fly. You got to know where to apply it.
Right.
So,
that's true.
Yeah.
So now I'm with the whole life cycle thing. It's like you go from being able to fly and breathe to breathe but not fly, and then if you get in the water, you can fly but not breathe.
Right.
You got it.
Oxygen's just killing us slowly. That's what it is. So
no, I don't think.
I think it is
that biological. That's true, but
that's what scuba diving is like, is flying underwater.
Right.
Truly.
and you can breathe during that.
That's true.
Yeah.
We hacked the system.
Yeah.
We sure did.
I don't know. I just want to get in a crab's mind. I didn't imagine what it would be like to be a crab and seeing these blobs. I mean, some fish are huge, but we don't have like really big birds,
not
whale-sized birds.
Right, not as big as fish, or especially as whales.
Yeah. I also imagine that crabs and whales probably don't see each other that often.
A crab and a whale walk into a bar.
But yeah, I don't know. I'm not like telling the crab what he can and can't do, or what he can and can't do.
Sure, I'm not either. It probably wouldn't understand me anyway.
Yeah.
I guess you never know, but I doubt that they have figured out human language yet.
Yeah. I just think it's because they're underwater.
Have you ever seen a mockingbird, a much smaller bird, fend off a crow or a raptor in the sky? Like if a hawk or an eagle is messing with a mockingbird or one of these smaller, or even a crow, they will fight them off.
Really?
Oh yeah, they dive bomb them. The bigger bird gets picked on and run off of or out of the territory.
I've
nature's.
Yeah.
I've seen it like in my backyard. I've seen a couple of there were multiple of them. They were ganging up on this hawk.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Ever since I taught that one bird study class, I've never seen a bird since then. So I swear.
Well, a lot of birds, including cardinals, their territory is marked for life. They live in this tree in this yard for all their life. Right. And if a raptor comes in, he's just moving through. They'll defend that, and because that's their home.
Yeah.
Also, speaking of crabs, so some crabs, like ghost crabs, just live on the beach and they can't breathe water. And so when Disney made the live action version of The Little Mermaid, they had Sebastian the crab, and he's under the water with them. And the model they used is a ghost crab, which cannot breathe underwater. Oh, wow. So I don't know.
He was just scooping up.
Yeah, someone didn't do their homework there. But I thought that was kind of funny.
They usually get it right because they usually do a lot of research.
Especially Disney.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Allegedly.
No.
Maybe they discovered a different species we don't know about. Like, we can give them the benefit of the doubt. Just didn't tell anyone. Well, anything else, Hayden?
No, that was all my thoughts.
Darrell, do you have any sage wisdom or advice to pass on to our listeners before we close?
Wisdom or advice?
I mean, it doesn't have to be super sage. I mean, like, it can just be regular advice.
Well, I was we have a group called F3 that we work out with 3 days a week, and at the end of the workout, somebody will usually lead us in some kind of words of wisdom. And one of the things that sticks out to me, and I've heard this from a friend of mine, is that people change for two reasons. They change because of inspiration or because of desperation. So I just hope all of our listeners out there today will change by inspiration and not desperation. As you are prepared for life, you will be able to receive more inspiration, and instead of reacting in desperation to the circumstances around you.
Wow,
I like that.
Yeah. See, that inspires you to be inspired. It's like inspirationception.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. So I hope you are all very, very inspired now after our wonderful interview with Mr. Darrell Fowler. I also hope that you stick around for next year of the Camp Davey Chronicles. We have one more episode this year, Christmas time. It'll be a great time, and then season 3.
Yeah.
Starts.
Congratulations, guys. Proud of y'all.
Yeah. So am I. So make sure that you subscribe and follow the podcast on Instagram at Camp Davey Chronicles and other places if you want to, I guess. Yeah. I don't know. And email us.
I kind of want a letter now.
Or write a letter.
That'd be really cool.
Write a letter to the Sequoia Council. Find the address online.
Yeah.
And write Camp Davey Chronicles, CO, Sequoia Council. It'll be amazing. We'll hang it on the wall.
Yeah.
If they let us.
Yep. We can hang it off the on-air sign.
Yeah. All right. It's a great day to be a scout at Camp Davey Fun.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Camp Davey Chronicles. It's a podcast about Camp